Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Android TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
The big story on Action News.
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another week of Women to Watch. I'm Sue Rocco, and so very excited to be broadcasting on 6abc.com with a very special guest today, a local lady who's going to be doing some incredible things for the city of Philadelphia. Angela Val is the new president and CEO of Visit Philadelphia, which is responsible for marketing the entire city, which is a big job. So, Angela, thank you so much for being with me.
Sue, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm really excited, and I appreciate the fact that we kind of did this very last minute. You just actually haven't started your new role yet, but you will be shortly.
Yes.
And I wanted you to give our viewers a sense of where you came from and what led you here. So I understand you were born in Maryland. And can you talk about the community there a little bit?
Sure. I grew up in Rockville, Maryland, just about a half hour outside of Washington, D.C., suburban area. Grew up in a middle-class neighborhood. My family, my uncle was in the tourism industry, which is how I gained my interest in the industry. And Drexel University was one of the few colleges at the time that had a bachelor's program for hospitality and tourism. So I came to Philadelphia in 1990, attended Drexel University for tourism and fell in love with the city. And I've been here for the last 31 years.
Wow, 31 years. You look incredibly young to have been doing something for 31 years.
Well, thank you, Sue.
Tell me about mom and dad, your parents. I know that, from my research, something that you grew up with that was really a challenge for you was dealing with dyslexia, which can be really difficult for a kid in school. And it sounds to me like mom and dad weren't going to let that hold you back.
They were not. I've been blessed with great parents. My father's a principal at an elementary school. My mother was a teacher, both retired now. But realized I had dyslexia in around the 6th grade. Being able to be diagnosed really helped me learn how to manage my learning disability. My parents were incredible. They were very supportive. They never lowered their expectations despite my learning disability. My parents really also expected all of their kids, I have 2 siblings, to go to college, and they did not change that for me either. They said, I'd have to work a little bit harder, but they expected me to do great things in my life. They also did not expect for us to sit around during the summer. So we either had to get a part-time job or take a class.
Oh, wow. You mentioned Drexel, and my son actually graduated from Drexel as well. And what's so wonderful about that school is the co-op, which really doesn't allow you to do anything if you're not working, right, or in the classroom, similar to how you were raised. I think it's a great way to learn. Tell me about your experience there at Drexel and how you took advantage of the co-op.
Yes. One of the reasons I chose Drexel was because of the co-op program and because it was in a city environment that had a lot of businesses in the area. I was never great at school, so being able to go to school and work to see if I had chosen the right major was really important to me. And in the hospitality field, people tend to either at the time go the track of culinary restaurants or go the track of more hotel. And by doing the co-op program, I realized very quickly that I was more on that track of hotels. I was not good at cooking, and I was not good at running the front of the house of any restaurant. But that was something that I learned during school instead of graduating and then, figuring it out after a 2 or 3 years worth of work. So I think the co-op program is extremely beneficial, especially during a time now where work experience is so important to get at an even younger age.
Yes. The industry you are in really requires one to be social, right? Was that as a young girl, were you outgoing and social? Was it enjoyable for you to engage with people? And did you have the confidence then?
I did not. I was really a shy child. I think one of the things that really intrigued me about hospitality is a hotel. When you go inside of a hotel, there's just so many different people, and you can become anyone you want. There was a show at the time called Hotel with Sherry Belafonte, and she just seemed to live a fabulous life in all the restaurants and meeting new people that came from all over the world. And I was like, oh, I could do that. But I also knew from my parents, putting myself in uncomfortable places is how you get over, being insecure or not as confident
Mhm.
around other people. And hospitality, it's the happiness business. People are
Yes.
happy to see when you're traveling and wanting to do something new. So it was a very engaging and welcoming industry to get into.
Yeah. If you're just joining us, I'm speaking with Angela Val, the brand new president and CEO for Visit Philadelphia. And, I said at the top of the show, it's a big job, I think, specifically in today's world, to be responsible for the image of a city. As you look to take on the role, can you tell me what are you most nervous about? What do you think is going to be the most challenging for you?
Sure. I think it's a very critical time for our city and for our industry as we come out of COVID. We've taken a big step back over the last 2.5 years. And, outside of the health crisis, there are other issues such as, safety, security. There are, a few shops and restaurants that have closed that we're going to need, new business owners to move into. So there is work to be done. But I don't think it's just, Visit Philadelphia or me. This is something that the community, I think, as a whole, the business community, our neighborhoods, our small business owners will rally around as we try to come back out of COVID and make sure that our streets are, vibrant both day and night as we come out of this.
Yes. I think the work that you're going to do requires managing a lot of moving parts. You will really be engaging with everybody in our city,
Yes.
from, excuse me, the hospitality industry to people in politics to developers, all of that. What do you think it is about you that allows you to do that and not become overwhelmed?
Yeah, I've been in Philly for a long time. I have a very uh, wide network, very deep network, but I'm a big we person. I like to collaborate. It's always been one of my strengths and something that I use in my leadership, whether that's internal or working with the external community. I really want over these next few weeks, as I start getting into the job, to listen to how people are doing in the
Mhm.
community so that we can build a collaborative plan together that will kind of be the foundation of what we do moving forward for Philadelphia, for visitation, and for us as a city.
Angela, one of the things I think is most impressive about you is that you started out as an executive assistant
Yes.
years ago, right, with Visit Philadelphia, and you just have continually climbed the ladder, so to speak, worked your way up, and now you're sitting in the top spot. So when we on this show talk about women in leadership and what perhaps holds women back, what would you say to a woman listening? I guess that would be advice on how you did that. What was your mindset in continually moving up?
I think oftentimes what holds us back as women, as people, um, is who we think we're not. And that's not my quote, that has come from someone else. And it has taken years for me to be able to even see myself in this type of role, since I've played always the number two most of my time in throughout my career. And I would definitely say to listen to that inner voice that says that you can do it and be okay with being uncomfortable, because that lets you know you're going in the right direction.
Right. So in what I think it's very hard to do that in those moments. What is, I always ask this question, do you have a mantra, something you go to in when you're feeling anxious or nervous that allows you to, as Amy Cuddy says, fake it till you make it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I do kind of always say to myself, you've been put here to do something else, and that you've got this. And I do my little Wonder Woman pose in the bathroom often.
Do you? Hands on the hips.
Hands on the
Yeah.
hips. I smile to myself in the mirror. And, I also say to myself, like, this is an opportunity that a lot of people don't get to have, and that I have the opportunity to step into it, and I shouldn't let my own fears be the thing that holds me back. But yeah, I'm just like everybody else. There are moments of nervousness, and you want to do a good job, and it's a very visible and public position. But most of the time I get so much support, and I'm probably my biggest critic.
Right. And that's often the case, right? I think we forget that what makes us special or great or successful is that there is no other of us. There is no other Angela Val. So you need to tap into that originality.
Yes, absolutely.
Tell me if there, I think a lot of the times the things that kind of keep us going as well is having someone in our corner who believes in us.
Yes.
And I wonder if there's been somebody throughout your career, other than mom and dad, that has believed in you and given you that boost.
Yeah, it's my husband. He is my biggest cheerleader. I have oftentimes come to him with a crazy role when I was asked to be the deputy executive director for the Democratic National Convention that was here in Philadelphia in 2016. That's a job with a very clear start and end date, another very public job. If I didn't do a good job, I'd probably have to move out of Philadelphia. He was very supportive. He always wants me to go for it. I'm not big on social media. He posts every single thing that I do. He is the person that says to me, I don't know the person you're talking about, because the person that I'm married to can definitely do this. And he has been the person that has encouraged me to take every chance and every opportunity that has come my way.
Yeah. You mentioned being a public figure, and when you are, you're going to hear from people,
Yes.
right? In a big way. So, first I wanted to ask you, how do you manage difficult people? What is your kind of philosophy for doing that? And, how do you think you'll manage, hearing feedback?
Yeah.
Probably not being on social media is a good move, but inevitably everyone has an opinion about what the city should be doing.
Everyone has an opinion.
Right.
I'm a person that listens more than she talks. That comes from, I think, being shy. I'm very comfortable with those moments of silence. But I also do want to hear from people. I certainly also know I don't know everything, and I don't have all the answers, and that there are some other perspectives out there. And I always come from the philosophy of trying to get to yes. That might not be the same road that we are all deciding to go down, but at the end of the day, I'm trying to figure out how to make everyone happy, as opposed to telling you why we can't do something.
Yeah, I love that attitude of let's do it. We can,
Yeah.
right? And then if it fails, what is our next move? As opposed to being stuck without making a decision.
That's right. There's always room for everyone to step back and try something else. Failure is how you get to success most of the time, by realizing that a few things didn't work. This is why they didn't work. So the next time we're going to do this differently.
Yeah. It's where we learn, right? It's where we learn. Yeah. Not failing. Excuse me. We're going to go into our first break. If you're just joining me, I'm Sue Rocco. This is Women to Watch, and I'm speaking to Angela Val, the president and CEO, incoming for Visit Philadelphia. Stay with us for our watch team if you're listening on WPHT, and we will be right back.
At Action News, we cherish every moment, and it's our profound responsibility to bring you closer to your world. Never miss a moment. Trust the people at Action News.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you. Champions on three. 1, 2, 3. Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In Philadelphia, we celebrated the miracle with pride only 5 years ago. And then the following morning, IBEW Local 98 members went back to work, building this city, rescuing our communities from decay, and inspiring the young men and women of the region to take pride in who we are. Like the Cats, Local 98 members believe in hope.
To learn more about who we are, what we do, and career opportunities with Local 98, visit us, IBEW98.org.
All right, did you know I was the Mommy Slam Dunk Champion?
Really?
Yes, really, don't sound so surprised.
Let's see it.
Oh, you're ready. All right, here we go. Let's hear the crowd. So go to right, go to left, fake 'em out. Mama, go up, mama!
She did it.
Again? You can't avoid gravity, but United Healthcare can help you avoid financial surprises by helping you compare costs and doctor quality ratings. United Healthcare.
Uh-huh.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Android TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
The big story on Action News.
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
Welcome back to the show. You're watching Women to Watch. My name is Sue Rocco, and I'm so excited and thrilled to be here on 6abc.com. Just a reminder, you can listen to the show as well Sunday nights at 7 on WPHT. And if you want to learn more about the show, who's coming up, and how to download the podcast, you can visit us at women2watch.net. That's women, the number 2, watch.net. So, Angela, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about when I think of Philadelphia. First of all, I was born and raised here, and I love this city. There's a lot of things I love about it. And I wonder if you can just talk for a few minutes about what you think the highlights are, you know, when you're talking to people about this city. What stands out to you first and foremost that should bring tourists here?
Well, I will tell you first, I love cities. It is something about seeing those tiny little yellow lights on the skyline. And I think of every light and every window as a place where there's a life. There's someone in that room eating dinner or watching television or having a party. And it just represents life to me. And Philadelphia, when I got here, was like this little gem of a city between two rivers. And its walkability and just seeing how the history of the city is still incorporated into the city with, you know, original cobblestone streets in some areas and gas lights that you have out in front of the academy. It was just a place where I felt like I could have that city life, but still have that kind of homey feel that I had growing up in Maryland.
Yeah. One of the things I'm real excited about is the waterfront. And, I've been saying for years, why have we not built up this beautiful waterfront, which I think every city needs. People want to be down on the water. Tell me what you're thinking or what you might know about that you can share with the viewers.
I'm really excited about the waterfront too. There was a study done many years ago, and I think back in the 90s, that Disney said, people have a natural tendency to walk toward water. So us kind of building up the waterfront in a nice continuous area is something that must happen. And the fact that you can get right from the historic area, Old City, onto the waterfront eventually, once we cap that 95 area, is going to be incredible. The Penn's Landing area right now is going through, as many of you know, a lot of construction. And one of the things that they've just opened up on the waterfront area right there near the Seaport Museum is a new restaurant, the Liberty Restaurant. And it is huge. It's a great addition, great outdoor space, very family friendly. For residents and tourists who bring your dog. But what you'll be able to do is walk from that Cherry Street Pier all the way down to Spruce Street Harbor Park, having something to do at each part of the way, which is our goal there for the waterfront.
Yeah, I love that. I'm really excited. Have you gotten together with your team? I'm sure that you're going to be managing a lot of people. And I'm curious what you plan for the culture of Visit Philadelphia and the people that you're working for.
I have not met all of the team yet. I have met maybe about 10 or 11 people so far last week. There are quite a few people that work at Visit Philadelphia that worked there when I was there originally. So that's going to be really nice. It's like a homecoming. But one of the first things I want to do is meet with all the staff individually. My style is very collaborative. I lead with empathy, and I have a very coaching style about me too. I really want for the people that work for me to go on to do bigger and better things in their lives as they proceed through their careers as well.
As you're saying that, I'm thinking that's one of the things that women are gifted in and do well. I would say that we're always concerned about the community, everyone around us. I wonder if you can just talk for a few minutes about women in leadership and why it's important. So, our show really is about not only profiling women who have, reached certain levels, but we want to talk about why it's important. Why will the world be a better place when we have more women on boards, in C-suites, and in those positions of leadership? What is your view on that?
I think with women, the very special thing about leadership amongst women is not only do we have our eye on the bottom line and good service and all those things, but we also want to nurture the culture of where we work and who is coming up. What is it like for the person who works at that, at that business? What is it that our reputation is within the community, and what are we giving back? I just think we add something else to the role that is a bit more nurturing than other organizations that have typically been led by men. And you will see it in soft skills a lot of times, which aren't often something that you find on a resume.
Correct.
Or learn in school.
Yes.
But it is those things that I think want for people to want to stay at a job is how they feel doing the work that they've been asked to do.
I almost think it's an intuition. Wouldn't you say it's something that's not measurable always in a meeting? But sometimes I think women, because we observe, we're very, very observant. Sometimes you just know something. In other words, this is the direction we should go. I can't exactly say why, but,
right.
Do you think that's true?
I do think that's true. And I think women too, we are more open to making space for other things that happen in our lives at work, because we're always the ones juggling so many things, that there is a bit more space to be yourself. And just as we've seen over these last 2 years, that kind of blending of personal and, business, professional life kind of coming together, there is a way for us to be able to like live these lives where we are contributing professionally without trying to balance all the time and juggle our personal lives and hoping that it works
Right.
out. We're
Right.
more than one thing.
Correct. And, I often say, I try never to ask about work-life balance because I think it's just life.
It's life.
And sometimes we're working and sometimes we're playing and sometimes, we're being creative. And I'm curious what your thoughts are about in today's world, which is just things are changing rapidly, very, very quickly. And people are having to adjust all the time, specifically around technology and, of course, social media. As far as your day to day, what do you try to do to not get lost in the noise that's out there?
Yeah, I don't believe that there's a real work-life balance. As you said, I feel like there's always going to be something that you're paying more attention to.
Mhm.
I aim for a blend to try to get my day to be very manageable, where I'm not, spending too much time on one particular area. But I do really cut off. I'm not big on social media. The social media that I do look at, it's really my kids, my friends' kids, and their pets, and a close knit group of people that like to tell jokes. Things that are more uplifting. I try most of the time to meet people in person as often as I can, instead of always, on Zoom or through a text message, so that you don't lose that relationship. And
Yes.
that relationship is deeper. I also take time for myself. I walk to work every morning. I walk home. I walk
That's
to all of my
nice.
appointments. Something about walking just is very relaxing to me. And it also gives me a little bit of time to get my head back into the space for whatever my next meeting is or whoever I'm going to meet. But yeah, just finding those like little bits of times and things that work for you just to make the day a little bit easier, and trying to incorporate some personal stuff into the work stuff and vice versa, so you don't feel guilty at the end.
Yeah. Do you have children? I think you said my kids.
Oh no, I don't have kids. I watch all my my friends.
Your friends' kids.
Instagram. I have a little dog and a loving husband. So I do have more flexibility in my life than most women have. And I am definitely grateful for that. But I'm also conscious that a lot of women and men are holding it down both at home and at work. And that takes a lot of time and energy and space to allow it to happen. Our lives change, as we've seen over these 2.5 years, how quickly many, parents also became teachers.
Yes.
So,
Oh my gosh. I was so grateful that my kids are adults and I didn't have to do that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, my mom, who was a teacher, she was grateful that she did not have to teach over Zoom.
Right. What neighborhood do you live in, Angela?
I live in Point Breeze
Point Breeze.
South Philly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that seems to be more and more popular today with young people than it was years ago.
Yeah, we used to I've lived in several places throughout the city, but right before then we lived in Graduate Hospital. And as we were looking to buy, a lot of my friends started buying in Point Breeze. So we've lived there now about 7 years. It's been great.
Yeah, that's a great area. Tell me, can you talk about some of the things that are on your agenda? When you start, what's the first thing you want to check off your list and focus on?
Yeah, so I really want in the first couple of months to settle into the job, make sure there's a smooth transition. I will spend the next few months really on a listening tour with, again, our staff and board, but also many of our partners within the community, hotels, restaurants, attractions, tour groups, just to see where everyone is at the moment. I think, yes, we all went through COVID, but we all experienced it a little bit differently, as we've said. And I want to make sure that whatever plan we come up with, whatever that advertising looks up with, whatever we're looking as our marketing message, that we've gotten input from the community for what that should be. We also have some really great things coming up, hopefully in 2026 with the 250th anniversary of the country. And I'm very hopeful that we will get World Cup games also in 2026. So I also want for us to start looking not just at this moment, but what Philly is going to be 5 years from now when we invite the rest of the world to have all eyes on Philly once again.
Yeah. Tell me how you're going to manage the nightly news is not good. And it's one of the reasons, I need to be in the know and I want to be in the know, for the show, but I find myself, not watching as much news. It can be really frightening. I don't know that it portrays the masses of people who are just going about their day and working hard and being good people. So crime, which is, has been rising in every city because of COVID. What is your take on how to manage that while promoting the city and trying to get more people to come in?
Yeah. So, I truly believe that a city needs to be clean and safe before anything really can grow. So, and that isn't just tourism, that's new residents, businesses coming here, students coming here for school. Working with Ready, Set, Philly over this last year, which was a program that, focused on getting workers back to their places of work after COVID. What has come out of that is really working with a collaborative group of stakeholders to not only talk about coming out of COVID, but how can we work with the city and the police department to address some of our safety concerns. And that has to be something that we focus on that is parallel to us also inviting people here. We have to do both at the same time. But I'm a strong believer in the fact that this is an issue that needs to be addressed, not just by the government, by the police department, but by the community in a joint effort so that we can bring those numbers down, but also make sure that not just the downtown area is safe, but the neighborhoods that are throughout Philadelphia where many people go, not everybody just goes downtown when they're visiting, that those neighborhoods are safe too. And with Ready, Set, Philly, I will definitely, one of the things that has happened is there's a partnership between Center City District, University City District, businesses that have their own private security and the police department, just to put more eyes on the street and more boots on the ground as we go into our summer tourist time and people start returning to work.
Right. One of the things I'm so proud of, in the city is we have some of the best hospitals and schools in Philadelphia in a small area in the country.
Yes, we do. It's very dense. We're very lucky. And I think that's why we've fared so well during COVID with, the number of people who have gotten vaccinated. We have had great leadership from those hospitals and universities, and they've stepped up as very large anchor institutions with Jefferson at one end, Penn at the other, when we are talking about the safety. Both of those hospitals and Drexel, with University City District, those are the types of organizations and companies that have private security that have said, hey, we're not just going to pay attention to our own corner, but we're going to also be part of this joint effort to make sure that this area is safer.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. We just have a few minutes left. I'd love for you, Angela, to leave the viewers. We often have a lot of women tuning in who are just looking for some inspiration. Some of them are in transition, right? They had a career, they stepped out to raise children and they want to come back, or they're searching for that next move. What would you say to them just to help them believe in themselves?
Sure. I would say first, just always know that there is a place for you. You might not know what that is right away, but to keep at it. And there are so many different types of opportunities now with part-time work, flexible work, online work, freelance work. I think I read something that said 40% of the working population at some point will be a 1099 freelance worker at some point in their life.
Wow.
So, that alone is a really great way for you to step into the space to start getting some experience. And the other part that I would say is to listen to your inner voice, even if there's this other voice that says, no, don't do that.
That other chirping. Yeah. Yes.
Do that.
Don't do that.
Take that chance and step into a space that might not feel comfortable for you at that time, where you're learning something new, because that might be the path that you need to take just to get to the next step. It's not a traditional workforce anymore.
No, not at all.
You get to try it a different way, but you have to also be open to different ways of working as well.
Yeah, I love that. Great way to end the show, Angela. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to be rooting you on and here to help in any way that I can to brag on our city.
All right. Thanks so much, Sue. I really appreciate the time.
Thank you. We're going to go into a break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by Sherry Morrison, our new Lifestyle Watch contributor, and she's going to be with Sally Glassman, the founder of the Kindle Farm Foundation. We'll be right back.
At Action News, we cherish every moment, and it's our profound responsibility to bring you closer to your world. Never miss a moment. Trust the people at Action News.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you. Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3. Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In Philadelphia, we celebrated the miracle with pride only 5 years ago. And then the following morning, IBEW Local 98 members went back to work, building this city, rescuing our communities from decay, and inspiring the young men and women of the region to take pride in who we are. Like the Cats, Local 98 members believe in hope.
To learn more about who we are, what we do, and career opportunities with Local 98, visit us, IBEW98.org.
All right, did you know I was the Mommy Slam Dunk Champion?
Really?
Yes, really, don't sound so surprised.
Let's see it.
Oh, you're ready. All right, here we go. Let's hear the crowd. So go to right, I go to left, fake a mama. Mama, go up, mama!
She did it.
Again? You can't avoid gravity, but United Healthcare can help you avoid financial surprises by helping you compare costs and doctor quality ratings. United Healthcare.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Android TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
The big story on Action News.
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
Welcome back to the show. You're watching Women to Watch. I'm Sue Rocco, and I'm so excited for this next segment with our new Lifestyle Watch contributor, Sherry Morrison. who's joined by Sally Glassman, the president of the Kindle Hill Foundation. I think before the break, I said Kindle Farm, Kindle Hill Foundation. So Sherry, take it away with Sally.
Hi, thanks, Sue. Well, welcome to lifestyle segment of Women to Watch. I'm Sherry Morrison. May brings a lot of big horse events all over the world. The first Kentucky Derby just happened. We've got the Preakness, the Belmont Stakes. We have polo matches getting ready and ramped up. Philadelphia's going to have their first competitive polo match at Fairmount Park ever. We also have the Cowtown Rodeo that happens in New Jersey. But today I wanted to bring you to Kindle Hill Farm in Bluebell, Pennsylvania, and introduce you to Sally Glassman. Sally is the director and president of the Kindle Hill Foundation. Sally, thanks for joining us today for our first live segment.
And thanks for having us.
So tell me a little bit about the Kindle Hill Foundation and how you got started.
Well, I was with Merrill Lynch, had a large practice, an investment management practice for close to 39 years. And when my two younger partners, who'd been with me for 30 years, offered to buy me out, I was liberated to do something different. And right about that time, of course, COVID arrived, and I had the perfect opportunity to combine my interests in psychology and horses and helping people. So it was the perfect time for everything to come together.
So equine therapy, like what exactly does that entail, and what kind of programs do you have here, and what kind of clients do you bring in?
Well, we have equine assisted therapy. That means the horse is assisting with the therapy. And we have equine assisted learning. Again, the horse is assisting. And we also have equine assisted training. So we can train police officers, corporate groups, really anyone who wants to learn, do something different, be outside, and experience the world of horses.
Wow, that's a lot. And so interesting that people can learn so much from these big animals. They are big animals. I had a little experience yesterday. I have to admit I was a little nervous. So why horses? Why not dogs? I mean, dogs are so much less expensive and easier to control.
Well, you're right that dogs are less expensive, and they can be sometimes easier to control, but it's a totally different mindset because dogs are predators. So, and we're predators too. So any animal that has eyes in the front of its head is a predator. Horses are animals of prey. Their eyes are on the side of their head, and their wiring is about survival. So they are, in essence, the food, and most of their life is spent trying not to get eaten. But that means they're also very sensitive and very thoughtful and reflective and great partners for us, learning about ourselves and others.
Wow. So that's very cool. So if you bring a corporate group here for some type of team building, what are the benefits for the corporate groups, and what sizes do you usually like to work with?
We can work with any group from, say, as small as 4 to as great as mid-20s. You want to make sure people have individual attention and they're getting to be hands-on with the horses. So they're actually handling horses, learning about some nuanced techniques like pressure and release and positive reinforcement versus negative reinforcement, and the importance of praise. Not waiting until the employee review to tell someone what an outstanding job they're doing. With horses, we have to do this with any interaction all the time. And horses are transactional. They can't plan, they can't premeditate, they can't scheme, and they don't harbor ill will. So, there's Cece now. So he's coming over.
He agrees with you, Sally.
Yes. And, they're loving and gentle, but unlike dogs, they're not effusive. So, they'll express themselves. And this particular horse is making a liar out of me because she's more effusive than most. But in general, they're more cautious about their relationships because above all, they need to feel safe.
I'd love to ask a question, Sally. Is it true that the horse can sense if you're nervous? I was only on a horse one time. I was extremely nervous, and my horse took off through the field away from the rest of the group. And I thought, well, they must have known.
Right. Well, that's unusual. Although I hear these stories, people tell me, oh, at camp, this horse ran away with me. But normally what happens is in that situation, people get on a horse and they don't have any of the skills they need to be a rider. So just like if you don't ski, you wouldn't start out on the Black Diamond Mountain, right? So, I mean, you need to learn to ride. And a lot of the work that we do is with horses on the ground, because all of those fundamental steps of the relationship with the horse and horsemanship, that all happens before any riding takes place. And also, this is a big animal, right? Cece's a 1,500-pound horse. If Cece didn't want to be in a relationship with me, she could choose to not. And what's great about horses on the ground is they have a choice. So if you bring to a horse ill will, repression, anger, hostile feelings, the horse will send that back to you like a backboard, because the horse will say, don't give me your baggage. I have my own survival to think about. I can't worry about yours. So it's a cleansing kind of an experience, and we tell everyone who comes here, leave your baggage outside. It won't need it here.
So I was visiting a couple of weeks ago, and you were doing a program with one of the local police forces. And I know that part of what you were doing was de-escalation, or working with police to help de-escalate. You also work with a lot of people with PTSD, the post-traumatic stress disorder. So can you tell me a little bit about the work you're doing with the police and how beneficial it's been for the different communities?
Yes, certainly. So we're working with many agencies now in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, helping to support training mandates or training that goes on in every respective agency. And we're teaching things that are beneficial strategically, like learning to use time and space, learning options, not telling officers how to do their job, but giving them a repertoire of more options in the interest of being more peaceable and deferring force. And it works because we can practice with horses over and over. We can make mistakes, and horses don't hold on to those errors. They forget them. And so we have the opportunity to keep working on it. And I think it's great for officers. And horses don't judge. So for once we have someone who actually understands the hypervigilant roller coaster of being in the first responder community. And they don't even have to say anything to one another. It's having someone who automatically understands you. And of course, all of our programs are designed to help people find their best selves, whatever that is, even if it's adolescents or corporate groups or adults, everybody.
Yeah, I think the one analogy you gave to me was, entering a policeman entering a home with a gun or whatever they have, a taser or something, and everybody feels threatened. And it's a little bit of role reversal that when the police walk into the area where the horses are, the size and the strength of the horses is a little bit intimidating, and it gives them that same feeling that people get when they enter with weapons or, just their presence. So it was very interesting. My take on the two of the biggest words are respect and trust. And it's not just between horses, but people and people you work with and just everybody. So it's very, very interesting what you're doing. And the property here is so beautiful. It's relaxing. It's kind of a nice escape for a lot of people. And I know you've done some other small events, not including food and beverage, but some nice little weddings and allowed people to use it for different corporate events and private events. It's great.
Yes, we want the space to be available so that lots of our community can enjoy it. And being here just brings people a sense of peace. We know from research that simply standing next to a horse lowers our heart rate, our cortisol levels, and our blood pressure. Not even having to touch a horse. So the next time you are near a field of horses, safely pull over and just hang out. And you'll feel more relaxed. That's only one of the many things that horses can do to help you improve your life.
That's awesome. Can you tell us, excuse me, Sherry, where exactly the location is, where the foundation is for local people?
We're in Bluebell, Pennsylvania. So we're not far, if you're familiar with Bluebell, we're not far from the Bluebell Inn, corner of Skippack Pike and Penland Pike.
Yeah, right off of 73.
Yeah.
We're in a kind of a modified rectangle that's Plymouth Cathcart Township Line in Morris. So we're also across from Montgomery County Community College. So you can see our signs over on Township Line and then also on Morris Road. Lots of people actually see our signs and call and say, what is that? Can I come over? Which go to our website, kindlehill.org, and you can request a consult or come for a tour by appointment. And, we welcome the members of our community, and we get phone calls from all over. I think next week we're seeing somebody who's coming down from New York City to see us.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. So I think, all of the different things you can do with corporate groups coming in, whether it's a relaxing afternoon or if it's a little bit more intense, trying to work with the different members of whether it's your director's board or just some of your employees in their teams. I think there's so many different ways you can work with them to achieve a lot of different things for the different companies that would be coming in. Even kids, you do a lot of work with children. With the post-traumatic stress, and have been through some pretty intense events in their lives.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, it's outdoors, right? It's outdoors, and we're all looking for things outside since COVID.
We're outside, and because we're so hands-on, people have an opportunity to experience things. Even, children over the age of, say, 7 or 8 are actually working hands-on with our ponies. And I'll tell you something that everyone can learn, the value of the pause. So horses tell us when they're afraid of something, they might need as much as 12 seconds to process what that is and to decide whether or not it is a threat. And we are so driven, I think, even young people and us, we adults, that sometimes we're so intent on our agenda that we forget that a pause could help. It could help the other person to process, and it can help us to calm our own nervous system down. So we practice something like that. And with children, this is very important to have an actual opportunity to practice this. And this past weekend, we had 2 young people here, and they were practicing the pause, and they were also teaching a little miniature horse to get into a human baby pool of plastic, which I can tell you is not easy. And in the middle of this, it started raining, and it was pouring. And these kids, I think they didn't even know it was raining. They were having so much fun doing this. And any fears that might have been there were totally forgotten. And I was watching in amazement from my porch as they were with our practitioner having a great time.
That is so awesome.
One of the things I think is interesting is you saying that you're working on the ground. I mean, this is not horseback riding, folks. So, if you think you're going to come out to the farm and go for a ride, you're not. This is mostly on the ground. You're holding or standing next to, or just interacting with a horse in a much different manner. It's not putting on your riding hat and giddy up, off we go.
Yeah,
that's good to know. Maybe I'll come if I don't have to get on the horse.
Well, I have a better experience with horses every time I come here. So I'm much more comfortable, which I was not for a long time. I rode when I was little, but like I said, it's all about respect and trust. So just knowing how to approach people and things and situations in a much different manner.
Yes, and on the ground, it is safer. We can supervise. There are plenty of organizations in our area that do have hippotherapy, therapeutic riding, but we find that we can work with a larger population, have less of a waiting list, get to people sooner because it's less complicated working with horses on the ground. Of course, many of us here, we all ride, we love riding, and it's been a big part of our lives. But we also have learned to appreciate how much of a relationship we can have, even though we are riders, with our own horses, simply kind of being their pals. And we take a lot of funny videos. You can follow us on Instagram. This morning we had one of our horses playing with a ball on the side of the grooming stall, which is not his and something he never had an interest in before, but all of a sudden that was his life's work. And That'll be on our Instagram later today.
Well, I think it's really great work what you're doing, Sally. And Sherry, thanks so much for bringing this segment to the show. I loved it, and we'll point people to the foundation for sure.
Thank you. Please come and visit us anytime.
We will. That's it, everyone, for another week of Women to Watch. Thanks so much for tuning in, and be sure to stay in the loop at womentowatch.net for all things about the show. Next week, I'll be joined by Sandra Clark, the CEO of StoryCorps. Have a great week, everyone.
At Action News, we cherish every moment, and it's our profound responsibility to bring you closer to your world. Never miss a moment. Trust the people at Action News.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you. Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3. Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In Philadelphia, we celebrated the miracle with pride only 5 years ago. And then the following morning, IBEW Local 98 members went back to work, building this city, rescuing our communities from decay, and inspiring the young men and women of the region to take pride in who we are. Like the Cats, Local 98 members believe in hope.
To learn more about who we are, what we do, and career opportunities with Local 98, visit us, IBEW98.org.
All right, did you know I was the Mommy Slam Dunk Champion?
Really?
Yes, really, don't sound so surprised.
Let's see it.
Oh, you're ready. All right, here we go. Let's hear the crowd. So go to right, I go to left, fake 'em out. Mama, go up, mama!
She did it.
Again? You can't avoid gravity, but United Healthcare can help you avoid financial surprises by helping you compare costs and doctor quality ratings. United Healthcare.
Uh-huh. Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Android TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
The big story on Action News.
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.